What's going on, guys? Day 2, NFL commentary, and I've got to say, initial reviews came back well. Pretty impressed with you guys, actually. So, as promised, I'm back here with more content. For those of you who wanted to know why we were looking at a Colts logo the whole time, this is unrefined, unpolished, not something I planned on doing. I'm actually here pretty late in the evening, talking to a seat cushion. So, this is what you're going to get, at least, the preliminary stuff. And obviously, if it's something I'm going to pursue more, I promise you a much more polished and refined product. So, with that said, I want to talk today about how I feel the NFL is really wrongly portrayed in the mainstream media. I'm not talking about Yard Barker, Pro Football Talk, Sporting News, any of that. I'm talking about mainstream media. Great example. Perfect example, actually, Sunday night. If you watch the game, Steelers and Bengals, huge game, you would know post-game, coming back from a break, so not even shown live. So at least part of you now has to understand the Sunday night crew felt this was critical to see. Mike Tomlin and Reggie Nelson had, I'll call it an animated conversation. And to put that in perspective, other players, other coaches, Marvin Lewis, for example, had to come separate these two. Now, whether they felt that it was going to get physical or not, it just lets you understand that cooler heads had to prevail. So the Sunday night team assumed, using their jump-to-conclusion mats, if you will, that this altercation revolved around a hit that Nelson had put on Le'Veon Bell, which, to the current moment, we know at least hyperextended his knee. They teased the rest of the broadcast. They're going to get Mike Tomlin's post-game press conference, which obviously, you know what, they knew they couldn't do that for time constraints, but whatever. Like any other addicted NFL fan, we'd all switched over to NFL Network anyway, waiting to see this, Denny Green-like press conference, I suppose. So, Tomlin comes out, and really, at least to my amazement, based on what I've been told by these quote-unquote professional commentators, Tomlin says that it wasn't about the hit. That he knew that it was not an illegal hit, and he didn't have an issue with it. That you would have to go to Reggie Nelson and ask about what happened, because he was talking about some hearsay type of deal where, information, I guess, that went from one sideline to another, and he actually went on to say that he respected Reggie Nelson, that he was a good player, and that whatever Reggie had went over there, and I don't want to use the word accused, but whatever had been said was simply not true. So, most of us can put a cap on this, go to sleep, and know that it wasn't about that. So, fast forward, I'm at work. This has, been 10 hours. Got a friend of mine that I work with, note this I, that knows just enough about football. I mean, just enough about football to make him, in my opinion, dangerous, okay? One of those guys that just wants to talk to you about football, having watched a maximum of 20 minutes a week, goes and reads some headlines, and then, feels like he's the second coming of any NFL commentator on God's green earth. So he sends me an email. How about that Mike Tomlin? And I respond like, yeah, okay, great coach, never been a fan. Second message comes through. Did he have to go after Reggie Nelson like that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So he sends me a link to an MSN article. Keep in mind, this is hours after the fact. The actual man involved has talked about what occurs. And I'll cite the actual title. It's not the most well-written title on the face of the earth. Mike Tomlin goes after Reggie Nelson after game over Bell hit. And this article ran, late morning into possibly early afternoon. To me, there's nothing more than a click generator there. They know that's not true. And they do this with a lot of NFL things. To make the negative so upfront. Here's a coach of an opposing team that went after a player. Never mind the fact that that's not what happened. Let's disregard the fact that the title sets up false information. That the man himself, whether you love or hate Mike Tomlin, should not have been accused on the front page of most people's homepage of their internet, mind you. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why things like this continue to happen. It's not about being fair or unbalanced. It's about just reporting the facts. And anything less, like I said, it's a detriment to the league. It puts a black eye on the league. And I wish that there was more of a push when things like this happen for the NFL to backlash against these media outlets and say, listen, if you're going to report things, then report them right, because anything less diminishes the value of our product. Because now it looks like a coach has accused a player of doing something that wasn't actually even true. And you get people, in my opinion, like I said, a not so informed fan, or someone that's not even a fan of the game, that gets the absolute wrong impression of what occurred on a football field. And to me, that's just a terrible thing to have happen. Love to know your opinions on this. Appreciate you checking out the video. And like I said, got no other option. Be back tomorrow with another video.